From frozen custard to wheat,
to trucks and even beef.
We are going to cover it all in this latest edition of Friday 5.
A big thank you to the Nebraska Corn Board for presenting this week's episode.
To kick off the countdown, I think we ought to start with the ice cream.
I would agree. Yesterday was Scoops of Thanks Day at Culver's, and we were eager to take part in that celebration, but it was not just for the tasty custard.
Now, that tasty treat was definitely a bonus, but all day long at Culver's on Thursday, customers received a free scoop of fresh frozen custard in exchange for a $1 donation to FFA or another local ag organization.
Moving on, earlier this week, Senator Ben Sasse reintroduced the legislation for livestock haulers.
The Transporting Livestock Across America Safely Act aims to provide livestock haulers with regulatory relief from hours of service rules.
The language of the bill would change a number of things, including increasing the exempt air miles, increasing the current driving time, and granting flexibility for drivers to rest when they need to without counting against the hours of service time.
Well, moving on, our very own Clay Patton left the office this week to take part in the 2019 Kansas Wheat Quality Tour.
It wasn't just a vacation for Clay, as more than 80 people from around the world spent 3 days seeing and sampling the hard winter wheat crop. Many of those people, Clay reported, had never even seen a wheat field before. That educational tour covered about 1,200 miles across most of Kansas, as well as parts of Nebraska, as well as Oklahoma.
Yeah, we caught up with Clay as the tour wrapped up, and he said that he saw good wheat in western Kansas, but some areas are 2 to 3 weeks behind in maturity.
Well, optimism is growing that the U.S. and China could wrap up a trade agreement possibly by this month.
Trade officials from the U.S. and China concluded talks in Beijing Wednesday, with another critical round scheduled in the U.S. for next week.
A deal at this point between the U.S. and China is expected in mid-May, with a possible signing of an agreement planned for June. However, an agreement does not necessarily mean an end to tariffs.
That's right. The U.S. is planning on keeping some tariffs on China, and China will likely keep retaliatory tariffs on U.S. ag products like soybeans, according to a Chinese trade expert.
And finally, our number one story. It is officially Beef Month in Nebraska.
It is indeed. Governor Pete Ricketts made the official proclamation Wednesday.
Now, here in the beef state, Nebraska led the nation in beef exports back in 2018. Total beef exports have exceeded $1 billion each year since 2014. Nebraska also leads the nation in commercial cattle slaughter as well as cattle on feed.
And on this topic, I have to ask you, what is your favorite cut of beef?
Oh, I would say the ribeye. What do you call a cow that's had its calf?
What?
Decaffeinated.
That's a horrible joke.
That will wrap up this week's edition of Friday 5, which is presented by the Nebraska Corn Board.
Thanks for hanging out with us and have a great weekend.
This is Mike. Mike likes his car. Mike likes to save money. And Mike likes to breathe. So Mike fills up with E15 with 15% American ethanol. The clean octane in E15 gives Mike the performance he wants from his engine and the clean air he wants for his family. Better yet, E15 costs less at the pump. Higher octane, cleaner air, lower cost. E15 sure gives Mike a lot to like. Discover E15 with American ethanol.